Hello, hello. It's time for the afternoon commute. Wow. I don't know why I always start recording on like a tricky on-ramp that includes me crossing 2 lanes, but I manage to do it every time. So just waiting for the day where I just catch myself in a like crash on video. It'll be brutal. And if the phone survives, it'll be pretty much tell of the tape what happened. But that aside, my death via car crash aside, let's talk Atlanta Hawks. I don't know how I haven't really touched upon them yet. At least I don't think I have. Maybe I have. I don't remember talking about them though. And I think this could be a hot take. But you know, I'll walk you through it. So at least you can say I do not have reasons to think this. You may disagree with me. You may, think I'm an idiot. But at the end of the day, I have some reasons. And I think I'm going to title the video this, so I guess it's not real. There's no point like beating around the bush and trying to make a big lead up or anything. But I think Trae Young is a top 5 MVP candidate. And that's the first time I've said it out loud. I just kind of thought it up till now. Well, here's the thing, right? I just looked it up. Trae Young didn't receive a single vote for MVP last year. You know, I get it wasn't an all-star, like kind of, and I've never been a Trae Young guy. Like, I'm far from a Trae Young guy. But you just look at his numbers. I mean, he was like top 5 in assists at the all-star break. And like top, 5 in points or top 10 in points. I don't know the exact numbers. And didn't make the all-star game. And obviously scoring in today's NBA doesn't mean as much. There are a lot of guys that score over 20 points and, it's whatever. But assist numbers, I think, are pretty indicative of how good a player can be. And I think it's a tough stat to be like, oh, well, he's stat padding. Or it's like at the end of the day, your other teammate has to make a shot. So unless you're passing up like layups in transition to teammates and that's how you're somehow getting 10 assists a game, then that's one thing. But I think Trae Young's pretty legit, like 10 assists a game. And so clearly, not a lot of respect around the All-Star break. I think, everyone likes a surprise. I think, Jaylen Brown coming off a hot start. Everyone wanted to see him make an all-star team. And there's different factors. And I think Trae Young's a pretty divisive guy in terms of just like hate him, love him. And he's a part of a new generation. So some old school people probably have some problems with him. But I think this past playoffs really changed the perception for him. I think people started to realize, he's kind of a dog. I mean, he's scrappy. He's very gifted offensively, but we knew that already. And, a lot of people think defensively is where he leaves a lot to be desired, which, he's undersized. He's not going to be able to, really hold his own against a bigger, like, Drew Holiday type point guard. But he's going to try. I mean, we saw it in the playoffs. And really, he just has to make himself, like, 4 or 5 out of 10 on defense to make his offense really worth it, and it translated to winning for the first time. I think that was another thing. Could he be a guy on a winning team? And we saw. I mean, they won multiple playoff series, so you can't say that he's not. His game doesn't translate to winning. And like obviously Steph Curry put up crazy numbers for his MVP years, unanimous year. I'm not saying Trae Young's going to win MVP, but really, I get it's a perception thing, but I don't see a huge difference in terms of game style between Trae Young and Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry's a little more likable. Trae Young's like fucking head looks like I don't know if I've seen this before. I'd probably go up with this, but he looks like if he rolled a lollipop on like the floor of like a hairdresser's. Like, I don't know. He doesn't look cool. He's not someone you're gonna like imitate his haircut, his look. But I mean, obviously him and Steph, their games are predicated on the 3-point line. Trae Young, I think, has better assist numbers than Steph Curry ever has, and probably has done it with worse teammates. And I don't know. I think Steph Curry, obviously, extremely gifted, but in terms of kind of the system he was in, certainly elevated him that some players just never see. And I think Trae Young can hit that Steph Curry level, and the only thing that's going to hinder him is, well, a couple things. First, the perception of him, but second, obviously those Warrior teams are title contenders. Whether the Hawks are like in that echelon, obviously, since Nate McMillan took over, they've been legit. I think, very talented roster, very young roster. And so I can't really call them a title contender, even though they made the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if you can really lock them in anywhere, really. But who's to say? I mean, I think, extending John Collins, that seemed to be like too far gone pretty much for the entire season. They somehow reached a deal. I think, the Nate McMillan thing, obviously guys got healthy when he took over, but that kind of changed the trajectory of the entire franchise, really, in terms of John Collins, perception of Trae Young, winning the playoff series. Beating the Sixers, obviously, the Knicks are one thing, but beating the Sixers, I think, says a lot. And so they extend Collins, they extend Capella, they extend Trae Young, bring back Lou Williams, and obviously Kevin Huerter's still there. Cam Reddish showed a little bit in the playoffs, and that was without DeAndre Hunter, we have to remember. Getting him back on the wing and as someone that can defend will be huge for them. If he takes a step up, Cam, Huerter, and I think Trae Young still has a chip on his shoulder and still has a lot to prove. So I don't see him slowing down either, and maybe hitting another level to the point where he's a lock all-star. Like, he's not a fringe guy anymore. Like, he's like, no, Trae Young's one of the best point guards in the league. Especially, who knows how many games Kyrie's going to play, so that's one guy in the East that you might not have to worry about. Other than that, Drew Holiday's in there, maybe, like, LaMelo Ball. I'm trying to think, why can't I think of any, like, good point guards in the East anymore? Is that, like, Knicks, Raptors, Pace, Brogdon's probably not, LaMelo, Ben Simmons, probably not. So, that in terms of all-star team, I think, the door's open for Trae Young. Obviously, they don't do point guards. They do, like, backcourts, so maybe that kind of screws him over a little bit. He's dealing with shooting guards as well. Just the idea of positions now in the NBA seems pretty stupid for the most part, because it's really hard to kind of, compartmentalize guys into certain positions at this point. Because it's mostly just, like, wing forward. Guard, wing, center, and even then that can get kind of nebulous. But I think you've got to say the Nets are always an unknown. Bucks will be back. Sixers now, who knows? So the East, as much as the kind of middle tier teams have improved, the top is kind of up for grabs in terms of really just the Bucks are the team with the least amount of question marks, bringing guys back. Who I would say, they've got to be top 3 guaranteed. But Sixers, Ben Simmons deal, who knows? Regardless of what the package is that they get for him, they're going to have to kind of get a fit and get a rotation going, so that could slow them down. The Nets don't have Kyrie for, 50% of games or more. That's going to be a problem, although, I could see them still being top 3 in the East. And then there's everyone else. And Atlanta, I think, has put themselves in a very good position to have a shot at a top 3 seed. They're bringing, you have that continuity, extending all those guys, bringing all those guys back. Nate McMillan will be back. I think that's a big part of the NBA, especially now that free agents, stars leave, stars demand trades, and to have the same roster over a period of time. I think that's why the Jazz have had so much regular season success. It's why Milwaukee was able to to perform well, is to keep a general core and not be switching guys in and out and having all these kind of free agents sign vet mins, and to have a young core, I think if not, you know, on the court, then at least off the court, in terms of a chemistry thing, in terms of familiarity thing. I think that's important. I think that's an underrated part of off seasons is you know, how many guys can you get to stay and commit long term. And it seems like the Hawks, you know, have young Collins, you know, Hunter will be around for a while, Capella at least the next 2 years, Gallinari, if he can stay healthy, Bogdanovich. I mean, this team was deep this year, and now that, I mean, coming off a playoff run, I feel like they're deep, man. They're very well put together team, and I think, you know, just a matter of finding minutes for everyone. But again, in the COVID era, and just when you have injuries, there are always a possibility. You know, depth is a big deal, and they're definitely in a position to you know, not skip a beat if guys go down. Obviously, if like Trae Young goes down, that's gonna be a big void. But other than that, my mom's staring at me as she's sitting on the porch, probably wondering why I'm talking to myself. So I'll have to call it from there because I'm too embarrassed to tell her about this. But take care of yourselves. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.